Another incredibly short video, but I'm really excited. We're gonna do some chopper shit before I disappear for work for about 10 days. So building a motorcycle at home, it's a journey, as the younger people would say. It's a thing. You know, when you think you know something, you don't know it, right? Like, and that's okay, right? You learn a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. And building this bike now twice has been really interesting to me. Y'all know I built the brown sugar chopper 2.5 years ago, whatever it was. That was the first time I'd ever built a bike. And I started with a chopper, right? So there was a donor bike. We changed everything. You know, we completely tore it all the way down, pulled the motor out, had the frame painted, changed the tanks, changed the fender, we changed everything. But still, at one time, it had been a motorcycle. So you have one leg up. That one we did in, several months. Damn proud of it. Won Working Man's class at the Cycle Source show, first year it was out. And then gifted it to my buddy Tom, who, one of my very best pals, and he just loved that bike. And Sportster choppers is powered by a Sportster motor. There's not a lot of value there, so I'd rather give it to a friend and have it stay in the family than have someone steal it from me for nothing. So Tom has it now, loves it dearly, and is actually made it way better. He's fixed every leak. Well, there's a new one as of yesterday. But he fixed every leak before this other one sprouted. And sugars at every event. He rides it like it's a regular motorcycle, which some of you are like, well, that's what you do. A 14 over rigid, not something 14 inches longer than stock. That's what that means. It's not something that you're going to just ride around to just like it's a regular motorcycle. You're going to plan. You're going to need a fuel bottle. You're going to need a very clear path, clear of potholes. You're going to want to not get on the, interstate with it. You're going to want to back road it. It's an entirely different situation. Those of you who've ridden an old school chopper know what I'm talking about. This guy, I started from scratch. We started with a Paco frame. We started with a pallet of parts from Paco that I bought, and then changed a lot of those out because it was a Christmas deal, and the pallet of parts was a better deal than buying them individually. So we used the frame. This is a Paco 0 up, 0 out frame. We used a motor we rescued from a friend of a friend's. I'll just leave it at that. A friend of a friend had passed away and left a motorcycle that hadn't moved in 20 years, probably about 20, 25 years. And it sort of sat derelict in her house, and she passed away, and her family thought she'd gotten rid of it. They didn't know it was still there. And as they're cleaning out the house, they're like, holy crap, that chopper's still there. So I bought that non-running, no title, out of her garage, and I pulled the drivetrain out of it, and that's what's in there right now, which is a 98 or 96. We're not sure. I'd have to pull lots of stuff off to get down and figure out what size it is. 98 or 96 inch SNS stroker. We know that much. Built it for smoke out, took it to smoke out and lost. I knew I'd lose. There was never a concern. there was never a horse in that race, but got it home, wasn't happy with what it was, and we rebuilt it. Some of you have seen all this stuff, but I'm doing something today that is comes with having friends with lots of knowledge. There you go. So one of my good pals is Ricky Bongo. Ricky Bongo lives in Vegas. He is a badass. He makes his own line of parts. He makes engine mounts, which I bought this on his site here. You can tell by the little, I'll show you. That is his logo, the cross lightning bolts, if you don't know. I've worn his hat sometimes in the past. Matter of fact, it might be sitting out right here. Yeah. My Ricky Bongo hat right there. So Ricky's a good friend. He's a good guy. I love him to death. And we see him every year at events. He makes things like this engine mount. He makes CV top covers. This is not his. Why did I show it? I don't know. That's a cheapie off Amazon. Damn it, Ricky's gonna be pissed off. Anyway, so he makes all kinds of neat shit. And one of the things he makes is rockers for springers. So these are the stock rockers, this part here, off my Paco Springer that I bought in that bundle of parts. This is a Ricky Bongo rocker. As you can see, we got holes, it's cooler, and it's longer. So there's a whole big, long video you can do about rake and trail. What this is doing is improving the trail of my bike. These are +2 rockers. So this is where the axle's going to go. It's going to push the wheel out 2 inches further and change the pivot point. What that's going to do is loosen up the front end. Because right now, she's 0 up, 0 out with a 6 over front end. Okay? Right now, she's a little stiff. I mean, like, when I first resurrected her the second time and I'm dialing her in, she's running a lot better. I go for rides around the neighborhood. Like, there are a lot of cul-de-sacs in my neighborhood. Lots of them. I live on one. So I go up to one. I'm going to run around, listen for knocks and ting ting, noises or problems and stuff like that. Or if it's going to come apart on me, I'd rather be going 5 miles an hour in my subdivision. And she just don't turn. Like, it's just the forks. Now with these bunnies, you can see there, you're physically turning the bars, and it's just stiff as hell. And that's the trail. There's zero. There's none. It's very, very short. So we need to increase the trail, and that's what these rockers are going to do. So what we're doing now is taking apart a Springer, something I've never done before. Springer came assembled. I'm not Bill Stevens. Bill makes his own Springers from like girders he finds in his backyard and his own smelting plant, and then cuts down rubber trees to make tires. I'm not that guy. I bought a Springer. Didn't have a wheel on it and stuff, but like it was a fully assembled Springer. Taking the rockers off, never done that before. Fun thing I found out is it's really easy. This is the same as a stock Springer. This is not like Paco Springer. This is a skinny with no brake, but this system works the same. You got 2 forks. They scissor. I'm leaving it alone. So they do that, and then the spring here, right, fights the movement of this fork, which is the up and down movement there. That's your suspension. So what we're doing is to take the wheel off. That's nothing. And then you take out your cotter pins here, which I've already done this side, obviously. And you back off these nuts, and then the rocker comes off. I put a strap here just to stabilize the Springer with the wheel was on it. I don't know if it's doing anything, but it made me feel better. So it is sort of holding the geometry of the Springer in place. I don't think it's doing anything, but I took those nuts off. I mean, it was nothing, man. Like the old rocker, what the hell did I do with it? Oh, right here. Just came off, right? These have brass bushings in them, which is nicer, right? You can see right there. I just took out the pivot bolts here and put anti-seize on them because they were awful crusty. Put them back in there, bolt it back up, cotter pin through it. I mean, we're done, man. That's all there is to it. And then we'll put front end back together, do this side. We'll put the wheel on with the axle through, which is going to be an absolute pain in the ass. Thank God I have a lot of axle grease. I'll be covered in it. And then I'm kind of done. Another not sexy video, but I just like to make content with y'all. Look, I've done some uninteresting videos in the past, but I'm sorry. Not the subject matter. Subject matter is interesting because there's geometry and maths here involved, but it's really freaking easy. It was nothing to it. That was doing nothing. I don't know why I had it on there. It was doing, I think, nothing. I don't know. Maybe it did help. In my mind, it was going to hold the forks level. I don't think it did. But yeah, you just got 2 nuts. The bigger one, there's one thing to know, the bigger one goes forward, at least on mine. So that nut is shallower than that one. That's all. Put anti-seize on these so they'll move around nice. And then now I'm going to grease up the front axle because that's going to be a pain in the ass. So one trick I'll tell you that I have learned, when you're putting an axle back into a Springer, a ratchet strap around the forks just to keep them from going, because they'll just spread and dance all over the frickin' place. You're trying to get the wheel through there. Just put a ratchet strap right here just to hold them straight, and that'll keep the legs from warping around so much. So I'm going to find my damn axle grease and then make a frickin' mess and put the wheel back on, and then I guess we're done. So, again, Ricky Bongo. I'll put a link and stuff in the description. He's a good friend. Go buy a hat, man. You know what I'm saying? It's even if you don't have a chopper, it's one of those badass cool brands, small shop, made in America. He sits at the kitchen table with his kids and packages the parts when he's done with them. That kind of cool stuff. So if you just want to be wearing something cool, go grab yourself a hat or a t-shirt if you don't have a chopper. I will say this, though. It's a dig that I have for Ricky all the time. He has really cool t-shirts that are like, what a chopper, and enjoy choppers, and they look like other famous brands. I don't go bigger than 2X. Because Ricky hates fat guys. That's what I say to him. After I just said, oh, this is so easy and nothing to it. And even the axle went through nice and smooth. And then I realized I had that spacer backwards. Seriously, I have to sabotage myself at least once on every project. So that spacer right there between the wheel and the fork, I had backwards. Now driving that axle back out, 'twasn't easy. Oh my God, what a pain in the ass. Use the ratchet, the secret to kind of hold them together. Otherwise, it'll dance and bind up and it won't come out. That sucked, man. Anyway, so I'm glad I did that, not only just so this thing's going to handle right, and I'll report back more in Daytona, of course, but It changed the stance a little bit. It lowered the front a little bit, which is nice. It might actually help this much with the short-ass, tiny little kickstand I got, so it leaves all the way over when I stop. I also moved the headlight and changed the headlight. That's an F&A. And I deleted the mounting bracket that was down here and had it float out there. Now I don't like it. I'm going to put it back. As Bill Stevens said, it gives it a mutt face. Sorry, so I got to move the headlight back out where it's floating. It looks a little more old school. But so yeah, Ricky Bongo makes cool ass shit, man. So if you seriously just want a t-shirt or a hat, go do that. He's a good guy. And, you know, if you're not building the chopper, you are building the chopper, go buy Ricky Bongo stuff. He makes everything. All kinds of stuff. Like he even has made, you know, pegs and stuff in the past, and of course engine mounts. You can do it with or without the starter key, you know, in black or chrome or I think polished or whatever. He sells custom spark plug wires. He sells, again, top covers for CVs. I think he sells from time to time when he's got them. Send him a message. Top covers for transmissions. All kinds of really neat small batch made, you know, a small batch at a time, and again packaged at the kitchen table by him and his family. Good guy. So thanks, Ricky. Looks cool. Now I got to hit the road for work, so I'm going to be quieter than I normally am for at least about 10 days, but I'll check in from here and there. So love you all to death. Take care of each other. We'll talk soon.